Fast-paced, no procrastination. Why is my return to the countryside in the sky? Pangu opened the sky and split the earth, and a broken blade of Pangu axe mixed with the water spirit of opening the sky, forming the land of returning to the countryside. Cangming belongs to the innate sacredness of the countryside, holding two top-quality innate spiritual treasures that have emerged from the sky. I just want to be the heavenly emperor who suppresses the sage and unifies the three realms. I, the great heavenly sovereign, will forge a tree to reopen the heavens and earth, create 3,000 great worlds, and create the path of prosperity. Prime Minister, 3,000 great worlds, and billions of small worlds. Let's take a look at Cangming unifying the wilderness, with the heavenly emperor and the position of the great master of the Xianmen sect. Leading a group of innate divine beings to sweep across all realms in the wilderness. P.S. The protagonist is mature, steady, and flowing. Keywords. Honghuang, sage, heavenly emperor, keywords of the novel. Honghuang. The heavenly emperor who walked out of the returning village without a pop-up window, Honghuang. The heavenly emperor who walked out of the returning village. Complete collection download of TXT, Honghuang. The heavenly emperor who walked out of the returning village. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. 2 Ultimate Spiritual Treasures at the Beginning, How to Lose. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. 2 Ultimate Spiritual Treasures at the Beginning, How to Lose Wilderness, on the coast of the East China Sea. Nowadays, the earth is filled with a fierce and ominous aura, and the sky is shrouded in gray. Through the mist, only dim starlight can be seen. The sacred mountains in the wilderness, the sacred islands hidden between heaven and earth, and the innate sanctity of each path have not yet appeared in the world. Only countless ferocious beasts roamed around, influenced by the fierce and inauspicious energy of the heavens, and they fought against each other in a daze all day long. The flood and famine are in the most chaotic and bloody barbaric era. A black-clothed divine man floats in mist on the clouds, gazing at a fierce beast below. Go! Cangming in the air let out a low shout, and the black sphere in his hand shot out, suddenly expanding in the air and flashing directly to the right eye of the lizard ferocious beast. Bang! The fierce beast didn't have time to dodge, and its right eye was directly smashed and exploded. Grayish-brown blood spurted out, causing 1,000 zhang body to stumble and emit bursts of mournful cries. After seeing the ferocious beast bleeding, Cangming's mind controlled the black sphere to shrink and jump back to his side with the ferocious beast's blood, then hiding his breath and hiding in the clouds. The blood floating in front of him emitted a chaotic aura, and Cangming's eyes showed a hint of disgust. Take out a strand of 3 light divine water from the sleeve, mix it with blood to stimulate divine power, and the liquid instantly turns into a mist and blends into the clouds. Drifting clouds and spreading rain. Cangming exerted his supernatural powers and waved his right sleeve, causing the clouds to suddenly permeate with water vapor, turning into a misty drizzle drifting towards the earth, emitting waves of fragrance and spreading to the surrounding areas. The fierce lizard beast below smelled the smell and stopped howling. It opened its big mouth greedily and devoured the rainwater, while the wound in its right eye slowly healed. Cangming's 3 light divine water in his hand can nourish all things, making it a first-class divine water in the world and extremely precious. The ferocious beast near the clouds had its nose twitching, and upon smelling this strange fragrance, its blood-red eyes flashed with excitement, all rushing towards the source. One of them was a strange bird-like ferocious beast, covered in red scales, looking up and crowing, revealing the slender and dense sharp teeth inside its pointed mouth. It waved its wings and flew over. The ferocious beasts running at lightning speed below are strangely shaped, with 4-eyed, multi-legged, and tentacles all over their bodies, scattered over 100 heads. Cangming watched as more and more ferocious beasts gathered beneath the clouds, controlling his divine power to make the rain finer and slower to fall. The earth was shrouded in mist, with clouds and smoke curling up. A gentle rain fell silently on these fierce beasts, and they were all immersed in it and unable to extricate themselves. Drink, drink, brainless guys. Cangming looked at the fierce beast immersed in the drizzle, his gaze as pure as an old farmer looking at the green and oily leeks on the field. The giant bird and ferocious beast flapped its wings, floating in mid-air, opening its big mouth to suck in the fine rain, swallowing a large amount of divine rain. The fierce beasts below could no longer resist seeing the giant bird's such domineering behavior. The tentacle monster was the first to take action and threw its tentacles towards the giant bird. The bird was momentarily careless and was bound by it, causing fierce beasts to fall into the well and move their hands. The giant bird was pulled down from the sky and fell directly to the ground with a loud bang, creating a pit on the ground. But the ferocious beast's body was hard, and the giant bird just shook its dizzy head and stood up, with no major damage to its body. When it woke up, it was surrounded by a group of fierce beasts, with a red light in its eyes. The giant bird dared not act recklessly and could only obediently lie down to absorb the rain. Cheap for you, you can still enjoy such a divine artifact before you die. The fierce beasts below squinted their comfortable eyes in the drizzling rain, some of whom were still snorting and happily wagging their tails, completely alert. Cangming thought to himself that it was time for them to bear fruit. He took out 3 strands of 3 light divine water again, and with a movement of his mind, he controlled the water to be divided into 3 colors. They are sunlight divine water, moonlight divine water, and starlight divine water. The 3 waters are suspended in the hands of Cangming, with gold, silver, and purple colors intertwined, shining brightly. Cangming collected the divine water of sunlight and used his water control ability to add moonlight and starlight divine water to the drizzle. The rain turned into a purple-silver color and slowly fell silently. When the fierce beast below came into contact with the rain, the red light in its eyes faded and its vitality was cut off. Bang, bang, one by one, they fell down like puppets. All the souls inside the body have dissipated. Watching the ferocious beasts collectively fall to the ground, Cangming's mind swept over and confirmed that they had all died. With his right hand waving his sleeve, a white light flew out, covering the corpse of the fierce beast below, and then he turned back to his sleeve. Soar through the clouds and mist. Suddenly, clouds and mist rose all over his body, enveloping him and flying elsewhere. Cangming is preparing to repeat his old trick and hunt down ferocious beasts. Until all the years of stored divine water were used up, a burst of white light flashed around the body, and the figure slowly disappeared under the cover of starlight. Shaoqing, the clouds and rain have dissipated, and the evil energy on the earth is still shrouded in all directions. The earth makes a bang-bang sound, and 2 red lights are faintly visible in the fog. A towering giant beast looks at the place where Cangming disappeared and roars up to the sky. In the midst of a flood and famine. The intersection of the starry sky and the chaotic sea above Mount Buzhou. Who? Cangming breathed a sigh of relief, his face somewhat pale. After killing the fierce beast, all his remaining divine power was used to activate the spiritual treasure to move back home. There were already enough fierce beasts killed this time, and coupled with the presence of evil energy on the land, Cangming dared not stay for long. Nowadays, fierce beasts are still rampant in the wilderness, and the batches he hunted belonged to small fierce beasts. For the time being, he dare not provoke the larger ones. I don't know when the 3 tribes first appeared, but now that this vast land is filled with evil spirits, it's not a good time to travel. Cangming thought about the current situation and also sighed in his heart. He lived well on earth, and when he woke up, he became the innate divine nurtured by the return to the countryside. The divine name, Cangming. The origin of the water spirit is the spirit that returns to the countryside. With the idea of settling down as soon as he arrived, Cangming let nature take its course. Besides, can he still refuse if the great opportunity falls on him on this day? Speaking of returning to the countryside, its origin is not small. Pangu, the great god, opened up the heavens and earth, executed the demon god, and transformed all things into his body. The heavenly axe in hand also shattered together, and the remaining bodies turned into various superior innate treasures in the wilderness. The chaotic essence condensed into a sea on the outer layer of this wasteland is called Chaos Sea. One of the remnants of the blade merged with some of the heavenly water spirit energy, forming a vortex on the chaotic seabed above the starry sky of Buzhou Mountain. Its name is Chaos Sea returning to the ruins. Just like the name Guishu on the seabed in Cangming's previous life impression, its location is completely different. This Guishu is not within the wasteland, and the surrounding heavenly secrets are completely obscured, hidden between heaven and earth, without anyone knowing. Since the beginning of the universe, Guishu has been devouring the essence of chaos and the energy of the surrounding stars like a black hole. Using Guishu as a furnace, Shuiling as the craftsmanship, Xingqi as carbon, and the essence as copper. Returning to the ruins, it pulls the innate star's spiritual energy and chaotic essence, and collides and explodes under the vortex of water spirit. The produced innate elemental energy is like thousands of clouds flying away, colorful and dazzling, with brilliant light reflecting in all directions. The heavenly Yuanci is collectively referred to as Yuanci. Its innate clear qi blends with the starry sky, strengthening the surrounding stars. And the innate turbid qi sinks along the Buzhou mountain to the wasteland, stabilizing the continent. At the same time, it will also produce a small amount of chaos divine iron. The highest level of qi in the innate primordial qi is undoubtedly innate clear qi, which has the effect of strengthening the primordial spirit and strengthening the essence. At the beginning, Cangming had a supply of fresh air refined from returning to the countryside. After a comfortable period of time, he immersed himself in the fresh air every day to stabilize his feet and enjoy it. But with the emergence of fierce energy on the vast continent, the evil energy spread and surged straight into the sky. The stars in the sky are shrouded in evil energy and can only emit scattered starlight, which is not enough to support the operation of returning to the countryside. After Guishu fell into silence, he transformed into a cave, while Cangming also lost his food for growth and could only transform into a world ahead of time. Fortunately, his innate divine foundation belongs to an impeccable state, and there are also many inheritances among them. After completing the cultivation, I will make up for it, but the impact is not significant. Cangming has 2 innate spiritual treasures and also comes with a cave that conceals its own heavenly secrets, which is among the top tier in the innate divine realm. His 2 accompanying spiritual treasures, one of which is the top-grade innate spiritual treasure Guishu Shenlu, forbidden by the 48 heavenly treasures, fused with the chaotic divine iron of Guishu. The divine furnace is round and integrated as a whole, with layers of divine patterns attached to it on the surface, appearing gray-black and having 7 orifices. Upon closer inspection by Cangming, the appearance of the divine furnace is somewhat similar to the ghost work ball on the Earth star. The power of returning to the countryside flows through the divine furnace, and the essence of chaos can be transformed into innate elemental energy. It is a good spiritual treasure that assists in cultivation. Unfortunately, all the stars in the sky are now obscured, and Cangming's cultivation is not enough to draw the essence of the surrounding chaos. There is still a small amount of chaotic essence left in the furnace, and one can only go out to hunt down ferocious beasts to extract innate spiritual energy and temporarily replace starlight to generate clear energy. Another spiritual treasure, Xinghe, was formed at the beginning of the universe by pulling a trace of the primordial origin of the surrounding stars through the return to the countryside. It is a top-notch innate spiritual treasure with 45 treasures. Its colors are brilliant and colorful, like a miniature version of the vast and desolate starry sky, with the virtual shadows of the sun, moon, and stars moving on their own, vast and boundless, enveloping the cave sky of Guishu. This treasure is constantly changing and has various divine powers. 1. Born to be able to pull the starlight and extract the 3 light divine water. Secondly, during the attack, it can transform into a covered Milky Way, emitting infinite gravitational and impact forces, and flowing endlessly. Thirdly, transform into a robe and drape it over your body, protected by starlight and unparalleled defense. Fourthly, the Milky Way has a teleportation effect, which can generate multiple Milky Way imprints. After activating the imprint, it can be moved to another imprint location with the help of the celestial starlight. Cangming is currently unable to refine two spiritual treasures through cultivation, and can only mobilize a trace of their power. At present, Guishu Cave Heaven does not have a large amount of innate clear energy injection, which cannot be used for cultivation. Even the cave heaven itself relies on its spiritual treasure instinct to pull weak star light and spiritual energy to maintain its operation. But Cangming understood in his heart that once Hongjun Patriarch cleared away the evil and established the Xianmen immortal way, and heaven and earth were in normal operation, Guishu Dongtian would surely regain its glory. In today's vast and desolate world, evil spirits permeate everywhere, and the stars in the sky are greatly reduced by the aura of evil spirits. Now, it is entirely thanks to the Milky Way that we can maintain the stability of Guishu Cave. Guishu Cave is the shelter of Cangming, and entering it can conceal the secrets of the heavens. It is an excellent cave and cannot make any mistakes. The remaining starlight spirit-powered Cangming leaves some for personal use, while the rest is used to gather the three light divine water. This is a first-class holy medicine that is used to nourish the physical essence, heal injuries, and restore divine power, all of which have miraculous effects. If we divide the three light divine water into three parts, the sunlight divine water can consume blood, flesh, essence, and bones, the moonlight divine water can corrode the soul of the Yuan god, and the starlight divine water can devour true spiritual consciousness, which can be used as a weapon to kill enemies. Cangming has always relied on this divine water to easily kill small ferocious beasts and obtain cultivation resources. Cangming interpretation. The sea or the distant and deep sky, end of this chapter. Chapter 2. The small Zhou sky and the Big Dipper formation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The small Zhou sky and the Big Dipper formation returning to the village and cave to the sky. Two spiritual treasures emit a lingering charm, and Cangming sits among them to carefully comprehend. Inside the cave, there was silence, and the space was vast and boundless. It was called the cave, but in fact, it was more like a world. The Guishu Divine Stove is located in the most central position, surrounded by a galaxy of stars, emitting a dazzling light, magnificent and spectacular. Cangming Yuanci roams through the Milky Way, appreciating the mysteries of the celestial and celestial movements. Immersed in it, the primordial spirit gradually grows under the nourishment of starlight. He took this opportunity to throw all the fierce beasts he had hunted into the Guishu furnace along with the sunlight divine water. The divine water flows, emitting a golden light around the corpse of the ferocious beast, burning like tiny stars. A corpse the size of 1,000 zhang slowly liquefies and makes a gurgling sound, eventually shrinking into a round ball. Under the perception of Cangming Yuanci, the innate spiritual energy, ominous energy, and Earth's turbid energy in the ball blend with each other. Explosion. Triggering a strand of chaotic essence in the furnace, it collided with the ball and exploded directly in the space inside the furnace, dissipating the evil energy, accompanied by brilliant light and endless noise. Ripples appeared inside the Guishu furnace, blocking the explosion and preventing energy from leaking out. Eventually, a magnificent round ball was formed, with various colored lights bouncing violently inside, causing ripples. As time passed, the waves gradually subsided, and the turbid energy inside the sphere decreased, while the clear energy rose and the spiritual energy was in the center. Cangming took out the acquired spiritual treasure dazzling pearl he had refined himself, extracted the innate turbid and spiritual energy from the furnace, and integrated them into the dazzling pearl. This pearl was previously refined by him with the help of the Guishu furnace, using a chaotic divine iron mixed with turbid gas. It contains 22 layers of treasure prohibition, belonging to the medium-level spiritual treasure. It has the ability to shuttle through the void and is as small as desired. It can jump and attack without any trajectory, making it difficult to defend. After nurturing the spiritual treasure, Cangming drew out his innate clear energy and directly integrated it into the primordial spirit, comprehending and inheriting the path of innate water spirit. Water embraces all things, and the blade of the heavenly axe is honed by the water spirit in endless years, and finally becomes one with the water spirit. Cangming's divine power was like a deep abyss, with a faint water charm emanating, intertwined with the brilliant starlight emanating from the Milky Way. Within his divine power, there were scattered starlights. The three colors of gold, silver, and purple surged and flowed, and as his understanding deepened, his divine power eventually returned to a calm and profound state. The divine light has a slight starlight color, and the pure water belongs to the divine power, adding a touch of brilliant brilliance. Water is ever changing, from soft to firm, intangible and formless, following its form to form. Cangming envisioned returning to the countryside for operation, and his divine power also rotated and exploded with the flow of perception, heavily entangled in the starlight. The primordial spirit penetrated deep into the Milky Way and leveraged its movement. The Milky Way, which had been running slowly for many years, was infused with vitality at this moment. The shadow of the central sun, Taiyin, was the first to emit light and spread towards the periphery. The 365 main stars orbiting around the sun and moon lit up one by one. After the main star is lit up, its light disappears, leaving billions of auxiliary stars shining slightly as usual. The thin starlight surrounding Guishu, through the mist of evil energy, was all drawn over. Starlight converges in the Milky Way, being rapidly compressed, and the mist of golden, silver, and purple starlight slowly condenses into strands of divine water. The last 10 drops of sparkling three-light divine water float in the Milky Way, emitting a soft light. Cangming saw the three lights divine water, his eyes warm, and he sighed, since the transformation, I have never been so wealthy. I used to use it one by one, but now I finally see drops of divine water. At present, a drop of divine water is controlled to seep into the divine body and the primordial spirit. After a long drought, the divine body and primordial spirit meet the sweet rain, bringing waves of comfort and making Cangming ethereal. With the blessing of the three-light divine water, Cangming continued to deepen his understanding of the way of water. Water flows back and forth, repeating itself endlessly. The divine power on his body once again changed with his perception, becoming thick and introverted, flowing within his body, flowing endlessly and eloquently. Cangming mainly embraces all things with water, coupled with its firmness and softness, constantly generates life and elevates the realm of heaven and gods. At the place of returning to the countryside, there is no difference in appearance, plain and indifferent, without any ripples. At the next level, Cangming can use this as a foundation, deeply understand the changes of water, and ultimately form his own unique way to return to the countryside. Now Hongjun has not yet become a saint, and the mysterious immortal path has not yet been established. The current spiritual practices are all innate Shintoism, with those who are deeply rooted and have a natural inheritance, including the memory of Pangu's founding. The first step is to listen to the Tao and first visualize the form of the Pangu deity, transforming into a human form and giving rise to the primordial spirit. At this time, there are mostly 4 spiritual realms in the vast and desolate world, and the earth, wind, water, and fire manifest in the world. After achieving the realm of gods and humans, one can unleash the divine powers of their own Tao principles. The divine form of Pangu, the great god of creation, is the human form. Initially, all living beings cultivated this divine form and transformed it into a human form. At this time, human is a collective term for all spirits, rather than just referring to a racial group. Among the 3 paths of heaven, earth, and humanity, the human path refers to the way in which all spirits operate. In addition to this divine form of opening the sky, there should be other divine forms of the Pangu deity. Cangming can infer 1 or 2 from the images of the later Nu Wafushi and the 12 ancestors Wu. After hearing the Tao, one enters the realm of the heavenly God and needs to add their own form of perception to the power of the Tao, which is no longer a superficial application. As one of the Tao forms of water, it has the ability to accommodate all things and generate life endlessly. However, Cangming water belongs to the Tao and has a deep understanding. Afterwards, it is the realm of the Tao God, which has already sorted and integrated its own Tao form, forming its own unique Tao. His next step is to transform the water path into the returning to the countryside path. For the innate divine, there is a template for enlightenment, just follow the step by step. Cangming summarized the changes in these three realms, firstly by proficiently controlling and using divine powers. Further understanding the changes in divine powers and refining the form of the Tao. After mastering the form, deduce and combine to form one's own path. Hearing the Tao, entering the Tao, and then obtaining the Tao. The treatment of pets in this world is good. It's obvious that it's an open book exam, and no one can even copy it well, right? Cangming thought of the various hardships of spiritual cultivation in the future, and couldn't help but feel happy in his heart. He calculated the level of mastery over inheritance, based on the top-level innate divine perfect form of the great Luo Golden Immortal. The comparison of the three realms of the divine realm with the immortal realm is roughly as follows. The divine realm corresponds to below the golden immortal realm, the heavenly realm is located between the golden immortal realm and the great Luo realm, and the divine realm should be the great Luo realm. This calculation is also quite vague, and the subdivision can only be confirmed after the immortal path is opened. After all, what is heard in later generations can only be used as a reference, and the overall trend is certainly not easy to change, but no one can guarantee that the small trend will remain unchanged. Even a saint cannot say that everything is under control. Putting aside the scattered thoughts now, it is the right thing to survive these three great tribulations. He looked at two spiritual treasures, and the Guishu divine stove was not suitable for external use, but needed to stabilize the cave. And the Milky Way is intangible and formless, gathering and dispersing from the heart, precisely driven by a separable part. Cangming is now promoted to the heavenly God, and his divine power is vastly different from before. To activate divine powers in the realm of gods and humans, it is necessary to cooperate with divine seals. Now, the divine powers can be achieved through the transformation of the heavenly God, and the divine power in the body is constantly growing and abundant. Cangming's divine power drives the Guishu divine furnace, pulling the surrounding starlight and colliding with the chaotic essence inside the furnace. Qingqi was directly sucked into the primordial spirit by Cangming, stabilizing the foundation. The remaining turbid and spiritual energy were injected into 30.7 chaotic divine iron by him. The divine iron floats in the furnace, absorbing turbid and spiritual energy. The surface flows with a faint light, while the internal treasure is self-generated. Cangming saw that the divine iron had formed a circle, and he also put the dazzling pearl inside, controlling the star river to separate a small piece and add it. 38 divine pearls are arranged in a celestial pattern on the little star river, with the eye-catching pearls occupying the shadow of the sun, and another one occupying the shadow of the moon. 2 divine pearls orbit side by side, while the other 30.6 transform into auxiliary stars and orbit in sequence. Xiaozhou Tianqing battle formation, complete. Cangming looked at the youth version of the little Zhou Tian star battle formation in front of him, his eyebrows relaxed and his face beamed with joy. Since he cannot refine the complete Milky Way, he will divide a part of it and use it as his body to carry 30.8 chaos divine beads of the acquired spiritual treasures to create the Zhou Tian Xing Chen and form a formation. Just right for the current cultivation level, when used externally, the power of the Lingbao will not appear too exaggerated. The little star river is 11 in size, with Cangming's primordial spirit entering directly, like a swallow returning to its nest. Cultivating in chaos, without remembering the number of years, coupled with the lack of reference materials at this time, Cangming also doesn't know how long it has been. The 9 layers of the little star river, the heavenly treasure forbidden, have all been refined, enveloping his primordial spirit, emitting bursts of starlight to nourish it. It can be said that it is driven by the arm, and the heart is satisfied. Cangming opened his eyes and was about to fully comprehend the power of the little star river. A purple aura flew directly from his forehead to the center of the star river, the sun and the moon, and disappeared in an instant. The purple aura information appeared in the Yuanci. Purple star shadow. Cangming exclaimed in surprise, and a purple hue flowed through the little star river formation, with the stars moving naturally and becoming even more unpredictable. Quickly delving deeper into the inheritance, watching the stars move in the beginning of heaven and earth, and the shadow of the purple microstar secretly floating in the heart. If the eyes of Pangu, the great god, turn into the sun and moon and appear in heaven and earth, then the stars formed by the ancestral orifice are the legendary purple microstars. Xuanci is the star of the central sky and the main star of the Zhou sky. Commander of the entire star, immensely esteemed, born with the destiny of the heavenly emperor. Unfortunately, the Pangu spine was not fully transformed and the mountain was too strong. It was connected to the sky and the earth, and the purple star was firmly bound to the mountaintop, not visible in the world. If it weren't for the anomaly of Cangming, it would only be possible for him to come into this world if he didn't fall from the mountains later on. But it was already late by then. As soon as we had the opportunity, our luck had already been lost. From then on, one cannot be called respected. After the appearance of the purple star shadow, the Yuanci also sensed waves of calls from the summit of the Buzhou mountain. Now is not a good time to enter, and the rough terrain is not something he can withstand now. I can only wait for my cultivation to improve and the evil energy to dissipate before going. Cangming suppressed his distractions in his heart, didn't think too much, and focused on the current situation. After the addition of purple star shadow to the Yuanci Xiaoxing, the main backbone was added, and the formation became more stable. The divine light was introverted, and the breath was obscured. Among them, the changes imply the principles of the circulation of the heavens and stars, completely natural and traceless. Cangming controlled the little star river to fly out of the Yuanci and transform it into a star cloth to wear on his body. The starlight dots on the Xian added a touch of brilliance to Cangming, and a lower-grade innate spiritual treasure was completely under his control. Carrying such a sharp weapon, naturally killing one's heart. Starlight enveloped the whole body, and Cangming's figure disappeared between the Guishu cave and the sky. The Guishu divine stove in the cave still does not stop. Combined with the chaotic essence in the Star River refining stove, it generates innate elemental energy to nourish the entire cave. At this time, the vast continent is on the coast of the East China Sea. Cangming floats between heaven and earth, carrying both hands on his back, looking towards the fierce beast that is 100,000 feet high in the distance. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Creation of the Heavenly God. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Divine Creation of the Sky. Cangming's body was shrouded in starlight, hiding in the air. The huge ferocious beast in the distance was the hegemon of this area. This ferocious beast bears some resemblance to the image of a Tyrannosaurus rex from the previous life of Cangming. It is 100,000 zhang tall, covered in scales and armor, and has bone spurs on its back. Her eyes flickered with a red light, revealing a fierce and cruel aura. Her whole body was filled with thick and ominous aura, forming an armor of ominous aura. Before, Cangming saw it all taking a detour, and the attack methods on its body couldn't even penetrate the layer of evil energy armor of the ferocious beast. Trying to kill it was just a daydream. Now that the little Zhou star battle formation has been formed, it's perfect to sacrifice this fierce beast to the formation. Stand up. Starlight spreads and envelopes the surroundings, covering the ferocious beasts and the surrounding heaven and earth. Cangming occupies the center of the sun and moon in the formation, overseeing the purple microcenter and mobilizing the operation of the formation. The formation is blessed by the purple microstar power, and no trace of the large formation can be seen from outside. The area covered by the formation is hidden between heaven and earth. The stars in the formation are moving, emitting gold, silver, and purple hues. The Milky Way surrounds them, and the ferocious beasts sense a slight threat from the Milky Way. They roar up in the sky, wagging their tails and vigorously striking the stars in the sky. This tail flick may seem fierce and powerful, but it can only create small ripples in the formation, and the stars are not affected at all. The little Zhou heavenly star battle formation is connected by the power of heaven and earth. With the help of the power of heaven and earth, no matter how powerful the ferocious beasts are, they are only a tiny drop compared to heaven and earth, and cannot cause any waves. Cangming looked at the trapped beast below, and the power of flipping mountains and seas on weekdays was far from enough to shake the formation. At present, he controlled 9 drops of 3 light divine water to separate out 3 types of divine water: sun, moon, and star. With a thought, the sunlight and divine water turn into mist, and it will surround the fierce beast. The fierce beast sensed a deadly threat emanating from the golden mist in front of it, and turned around to try to escape. Star guidance. The stars within the formation follow the will of Cangming, and the starlight distorts. The gravitational force of the formation attaches to the fierce beast, firmly holding it in place. This ferocious beast is like being trapped in a swamp, with no place to exert its strength. Its body is pulled by countless gravitational forces, and the armor transformed from its ferocious aura creaks under the pressure of gravity. Feeling its body being squeezed, the ferocious beast kept howling, panting and twisting its body, but to no avail, sinking deeper and deeper. The gravitational force in the formation increases as the stars move, like a spider web wrapping around prey. Cangming watched as the fire approached, pulling the sunlight and mist to cover the fierce beast. The surface of the beast's evil energy instantly melted with ice and snow, and its armor collapsed layer by layer, revealing its body faintly. Star meteorite. 36 main stars in the formation carried the power of the Milky Way and smashed towards the fierce beast. The beast watched as the star fell, and its pupils suddenly tightened, struggling even more fiercely. Bang bang. The thin armor of the ferocious beast was shattered, and the sunlight mist seeped through the cracks. The scales, armor, and flesh of the ferocious beast were burned and emitted bursts of green smoke, gradually melting and liquefying. Ah! Ah! The screams of the ferocious beast grew weaker and weaker as they lay flat on the ground, their chest twitching weakly. Cangming saw this situation and appeared to shrink his formation. In the end, Xiaozhou Tianqing's battle formation turned into a round ball floating on his right hand. Sumeru hides mustard seeds contain sumeru seeds, but inside the small ball, there is a world. The center of the starlight sphere is parallel to the sun and moon, and the fierce beasts in the formation have only one breath left, with a dim red light in their eyes. In the end, moonlight, starlight, and mist penetrated through the mouth and nose of the ferocious beast, dissipating its soul and cutting off its vitality. Cangming mobilized his divine power and a vortex appeared in the formation, rolling in the liquid transformed by the fierce beast and refining it layer by layer. The ominous energy was absorbed by Cangming with a chaotic divine iron and left for future use. The innate spiritual energy and turbid energy were scattered among the stars in the formation to nourish the large formation. Cangming experimented with various powers of the great formation this time. Although it was just a youth version of the Zhou Tian star formation, the power it exerted should not be underestimated. He controlled the formation with his own body, taking advantage of the power of heaven and earth. This fierce beast, which was comparable to the peak of the heavenly god, entered the formation like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered, without any resistance. Immediately, Cangming turned his gaze to the East China Sea. Compared to the land, the sea was more densely populated and had more ferocious beasts. He was born into the water genus and it was time to get closer. Honghuang East China Sea, sending mayflies to heaven and earth, like a drop in the vast sea. Only by being in it can one feel the vastness of the vast East China Sea, which is as vast as a universe, and the giant beasts faintly visible in the distance are the stars. Compared to the earth, the starry sky is shrouded in evil energy, making the eyes unable to see far, while the ocean appears vast and boundless, making Cangming enchanted. 10,000 Zhang sea beasts roam in the sea, occasionally leaping out of the sea, causing towering waves and swallowing a group of small sea beasts with a black hole-like mouth. The small sea beasts around were frightened and fled in a panic. Cangming selected a target and saw one of them, 1,000 Zhang sea beast, running towards him. He reached out his right hand to grip the sea beast, and above it appeared a starry hand that covered the sky, like catching a loach. The fierce beast was firmly grasped by the hand. Cangming's divine power flows, and the sea beasts are crushed by the starlight's big hands. The evil and turbid energy has been absorbed by the divine beads in the array, and the innate spiritual energy with vitality is still bound in the hands. Call for wind and rain. Cangming directly mobilized the way of water between heaven and earth, coupled with the three lights divine water, resulting in a cloud and rain area that was 100 times larger than last time. During this period, there are even more fierce winds and a wider range of fragrance spreading. The sea animals in this sea area are attracted and swimming rapidly towards the cloudy and rainy areas. Cangming hid the small Zhou Tian Star Dipper formation in the clouds and rain, waiting for the sea beasts to come to his door. The sea beasts rushed frantically into the formation, breathing in raindrops and forgetting to kill. The sea beasts, who were usually enemies of each other, also devoured the rain on their own. There were already tens of thousands of sea beasts of all sizes in the formation. Cangming activated the entire formation, and the wind dissipated and the clouds dispersed on the sea surface, as if there had never been any clouds or rain before. Outside the formation, sensing the disappearance of a strange fragrance, the sea beasts who had not yet had time to enjoy the rain were furious and rushed towards the small sea beasts around them, causing them to roar and scream incessantly. The entire sea area was infected with animal blood. Cangming watched as the sea beasts in the formation completely relaxed, their bodies undulating with the waves of the sea, and the three lights divine water had a calming effect on their souls. The spirit of the ferocious beast is usually influenced by the ferocious aura, and is irritable and restless. Its heart is filled with destruction, killing, and animal nature surpasses divine nature. If the harsh aura of the flood and famine subsides, Cangming would still be interested in using the three-light divine water to soothe the ferocious beasts, strengthen their divinity, and help them escape. But now in this situation, there is a fierce and evil energy that cannot be saved even if he wants to. He can only try to clear it as much as possible. Compared to land, the sea is Cangming's home ground. He is full of divine power, and the sea water turns into a vortex, all the sea beasts are caught up in it. The little Zhou star battle formation and the whirlpool merge into one, increasing the traction force, and the sea beasts are bound by gravity, with no fighting power. The armor of the evil energy on the body was worn away, and the moonlight, starlight, divine water, and changing mist penetrated the mouths and noses of the ferocious beasts, melting their souls. No matter how strong the body is, what about it? Found a way to deal with it, the ferocious beast is fish and meat. Cangming watched as the divine ball carrying the shadows of the sun and moon in the formation was already forbidden to grow, with a total of 24 layers. He stepped into the category of top-grade spiritual treasures, and the other 36 were all promoted to medium grade. The foundation of the large formation is more stable, and the range is also expanding accordingly. Continue hunting. There are many ferocious beasts in the sea, and now controlling a large formation to eliminate enemies doesn't require any divine power. After killing enough, return to the countryside. Cangming thought to himself that the resources in the sea are so abundant, and if he didn't mine them properly, his heart would be hard to calm. Just as Cangming was hunting ferocious beasts on a large scale, a whale-shaped ferocious beast rushed towards the sea area where Cangming was located. Along the way, they rampaged and their evil energy condensed into tentacles. Wherever they passed, small ferocious beasts were pulled and devoured by giant whales. The giant whale perceives that what attracts it is right ahead, and the sudden strong hunger feels like an invisible giant hand rubbing its stomach. Swallow. Eat. Instinct drove it to leap out of the sea, revealing its massive beast like a planet, plummeting rapidly from the air. As it penetrated the seawater scattered and splashed, and the huge waves spread in all directions with a towering force. The small ferocious beasts swimming nearby fell ill with blood mold and were directly beaten into blood mist by the waves, and the bloody aura lingered for a long time. The giant whale perceives that what attracts it is right where it just fell, but with a single blow, there is no change. The peristalsis of the stomach became even more intense, and the giant whale roared impatiently. Its evil energy tentacles were whipping the sea surface, helplessly venting its animal desires. Cangming in the formation had already discovered this giant beast, and the dinosaur ferocious beast he had hunted before was like a child by its side. It was also the first time he had seen such a large ferocious beast. With such a large body size, it cannot be consumed. We must use all our strength and kill with one strike. Kai Tian Shenxing, gather. Within the Shaozhou Tianqing Do formation, the stars rotate, and endless sea water spreads upwards. Cangming's divine power operates to mobilize the sea water. Water, with its forms a celestial giant in the formation. The giant has red fruits on its upper body, twisted muscles, and a blurry face. It holds a divine axe tightly in both hands, presenting a celestial momentum. It looks a bit silly. Purple micro, sun, Tai-yin, together. Cangming's body transformed into a purple micro dwelling in the giant's ancestral orifice, with the sun and moon separated on either side. Taking the Shaozhou Tianqing battle formation as the body, the divine iron stars as the bones, the three main stars as the gods, and the Kaitian god as the formation. As the three main stars entered the body, the giant's eyes flickered with divine light, and the whole became lively, as if infused with soul. As the spirit of returning to the countryside, Cangming's divine power naturally carries a hint of destruction from the heavenly divine axe. After the construction of the Kaitian divine form, the intention of destruction is condensed onto the blade of the divine axe. Cangming decisively withdrew his formation and appeared at sea. Open. The giant drank loudly, his muscles dilated, and his divine axe swung fiercely towards the whale. Outside the formation, the giant whale was still venting its anger, stirring up boundless seawater. A giant wielding an axe suddenly appeared in front of them, and the dazzling divine power suppressed the whale, making it unable to move. Disc. The deepest fear in the whale's memory surfaced in its heart, and the red light in its eyes contracted sharply. A beam of axe light passed by. The space at the collision of the giant whale and the axe light shattered, and the body directly turned into powder. The forces of earth, wind, water, fire, and destruction intertwined to form a destructive field. The axe light swept over the giant whale without any pause, and in an instant, it was unknown how far it had flown. The waves are rolling, the waves are surging, and a deep abyss appears on the sea where axe light flies. The divine form slowly dissipated after swinging this stunning strike. The strength is a bit too strong. Cangming's face was a bit pale, and he quickly swallowed a drop of Sanguang divine water. This blow used 80% of his divine power. The destruction field is still devouring the surrounding area in place, see this situation. Cangming is blessed to the soul, controlling the 30.8 divine pearls of the Milky Way to fly into it. Find the carrier of feng shui, fire, and the power of destruction within the field, imprinted on the divine pearl. The breath gradually subsided, the divine pearl melted, and finally formed a black small axe floating in the air. Cangming's mind moved, and the axe flew into his hand, emitting a slight tremble, sending waves of intimacy. This treasure is the first time that Cangming utilized the power of the Pangu axe blade to break through the Shaozhou Tianqing battle formation, integrating the chaotic divine iron and the innate evil energy of ferocious beasts, borrowing the creation of heaven and earth to become a treasure. Inside, there are 45 forbidden lines of the heavenly treasure, which belongs to the highest quality spiritual treasure of the heavenly treasure. It is the main killing weapon. With it, Cangming no longer needs to spend a lot of divine power building an axe with the Kaitian divine form. Good luck, good treasure. In the future, it will be called the Destruction Divine Axe. Cangming suppressed his excitement and put the broken axe into the small Zhou Tian star dough formation as a tool to suppress the formation. The star god beads in the formation need to be returned to the ruins and refined again. Subsequently, after dealing with the battlefield traces, Cangming activated the Star River Seal and, under the guidance of Starlight, returned to the Guishu cave. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. The present situation of the Dragon Clan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. The present situation of the Dragon Clan, the southern region of the Honghuang East Sea. Several frozen ferocious beasts floated up and down with the waves. Aoli stood aside, dressed in a white dress with a drooping hem. The sea breeze blows, and the clothes sway gently, enveloping the graceful figure like smoke and mist. The green silk also fluttered and swayed in the wind, revealing the delicate dragon horns on the forehead. The eyes were deep, the face was elegant, and the light red lip color added a touch of charm. Princess, the task of capturing the fierce beast is over. The dragon horn man behind him clasped his fists and reported. At this moment, Aoli was about to speak up and respond, and the primordial spirit suddenly felt a hint of crisis approaching. A black small flag flew out of it and instantly floated on its chest, opening the water curtain to protect the surrounding people. Waves emerge on the boundless sea surface. The immense divine light slashed the waves across the sea, and wherever it passed, the surrounding space twisted into black lines. The aftershocks rolled up huge waves and rushed towards everyone. The water curtain opened by Aoli resisted the impact and kept shaking, causing cracks to appear and spread on the surface of the curtain. Aoli's pupils shrank slightly, increasing his divine power. The small flag's divine light flickered, and water vapor diffused out, seeping into the cracks to reinforce the water curtain. The final aftermath dissipated, leaving a deep abyss of divine light on the sea surface. In the water curtain, everyone stared blankly at the marks caused by the divine light and froze on the sea surface. There is a Dideo god nearby, let's retreat. Aoze connects the water channel. Aoli shouted and woke everyone up. Obey me. Dragon Horn Han Aos took out a blue water droplet and directly crushed it. The seawater was pulled up, covering everyone, and blue light surged and disappeared on the surface of the sea. Under the sea in the East China Sea, amidst the misty water vapor, a magnificent and spectacular crystal palace can be vaguely seen. The palace stands tall and majestic, supported by crystal columns and carved with dragon patterns. Various colored precious beads are hung to decorate it, reflecting the entire dragon palace in a colorful and splendid way. After seeing the familiar dragon palace, Aoli breathed a sigh of relief and led everyone out of the water eye. "Ha, third sister, you're back. Did your trip go smoothly?" A burst of hearty laughter echoed from the palace. Aocang walked over quickly, dressed in dragon-patterned green clothes, with a handsome face. The dragon horns on his forehead were adorned with the aura of armor and wood, with even a hint of lightning flashing. "Second brother, this trip has been quite smooth. The task assigned by the elder brother has been completed." Aoli slightly bowed and everyone behind him bowed and bowed. Aocang saw that the crowd was still in good condition and there were no injuries around him. He nodded and saluted, saying, "As long as it's okay, Big Brother is still waiting for us to go to the Hualong Pool." After finishing speaking, he led the crowd towards the Hualong Pool. At the Hualong Pond, ancestral dragon Aocang was dressed in a purple gold robe with dragon patterns, and the dragon horns on his forehead were ferocious and thick, with 9 forks. At this moment, he was ordering his clan members to throw fierce beasts into the pool water one after another. The evil energy on the fierce beast in the pool was worn away by the water of the dragon transformation pool, and its body was pulled to a slender shape. Dragon scales appeared, and dragon horns appeared on its forehead. As time went by, the fierce beast in the pool had finished transforming into a dragon. A flash of energy flashed through the longan, and it was already two different species from the ferocious beast that had previously only known about killing. Okay. From now on, we will all be good sons and daughters of our tribe. Elder, take them all down, take good care of them, and pass on the cultivation method. Aocang exclaimed with joy as he observed that all the fierce beasts in the pool had been transformed into dragon tribes. Obey your orders. Elder Aocang exhaled a cloud and wrapped the still somewhat confused little dragon as he left the dragon transformation pool. The innate dragon tribes surrounding cannot conceal their joy. There are countless ferocious beasts in the sea, and with the help of thousands of innate dragon clans, when can we kill them all? This dragon transformation pool is an innate top-grade spiritual treasure with no ability to attack or attack. It is a treasure that suppresses the luck of the dragon clan. Currently, it can infiltrate the evil energy into small and fierce beasts to transform into dragons and strengthen the large clan. Zulong Aocang is the incarnation of Pangu's great deity, the kidney, and the water spirit. He holds two heavy treasures. In addition to the dragon transformation pool, there is also an innate top-quality spiritual treasure, the infinite sea god pearl. And other innate dragon races are transformed by the ancestral dragon breath of the Pangu kidney branch. Among them, Aoli and Aocang are the most unique. They are the innate essence of Gui Shui, the innate essence of Jiamu, and the transformation of Aocang. The three of them, led by Aocang, call each other siblings. With the increase in the number of transformed dragon tribes and the flourishing of their energy, under the induction of their energy, ancestral dragon Aocang had recently become a deity in the Tao realm. Just as Aocang was thinking about the relationship between ethnic luck and cultivation, Aoli and Aocang came forward. Big brother. Second brother and third sister, there's no need to be polite. Has the fierce beast ever brought it? Aocang asked with a smile on his face. Big brother, all the fierce beasts are inside the Shumi pearl. Okay. Quickly put it into the dragon transformation pool. Aocang and Aoli each took out a bead, both of which were acquired spiritual treasures. They were simply refined from the Sumera divine stone and were specifically used to imprison ferocious beasts. The fierce beast that Aocang took out had scars from lightning strikes, while Aoli's was frozen. Aocang looked at these ferocious beasts that were comparable to the realm of gods and humans and said, in the future, we can catch the ferocious beasts in the realm of gods and gods. Big brother, have you already refined all of this dragon pool? Big brother, but has there been a breakthrough in cultivation? Aocang Aoli asked eagerly, one in front and one behind. A while ago, our clan's fortune was flourishing, and our water observation eyes had some insights. Now we have reached the realm of divine reverence. Aocang said lightly. After speaking, the divine power flew out of the body, with a ray of golden light inside, and a myriad of water virtual shadows transformed into dragon shapes surrounding it like stars and moons. Aoli in the heavenly god realm sensed the immense power of the ancestral dragon, with a majestic aura that engulfed mountains and rivers. Under this influence, the power of the primordial spirit to mobilize laws is less than half of its usual power. Aoli couldn't help but sigh, this is the majesty of the divine lord. Fortunately, I am far enough from the divine light on the sea surface. But Aocang didn't feel that strong. He followed the path of armor and wood producing thunder, and water only accounted for a part. At this moment, Aocang had already restrained his divine power and said, this is the way to govern all waters. The transformation and changes of water belong to my heart. It is time to solve the troubles in those hearts of the southern regions. After hearing this, Aocang Aoli smiled happily and congratulated in unison, "Congratulations to your elder brother for achieving the realm of divine reverence." The surrounding dragon tribes all bowed and said, "Congratulations to the ancestral dragon for achieving the realm of divine reverence." For a moment, the dragon palace was filled with endless dragon chants, making it incredibly lively. At the same time, in the undead volcano in the southern part of the Honghuang, Yuan Feng waved his hand and said, "Throw the fierce beast into the Nirvana phoenix nest." At the foot of the mountain in the middle of the wasteland, the Qilin Shenyuan released the climbing cliff and said, "Put them all inside." With more and more ferocious beasts being transformed and the momentum of attack and defense turning around, the three tribes of Honghuang have developed explosively and are about to dominate the world. Guishu Dongtian Cangming sat beside the Guishu divine stove, using the collected ferocious beast, fuel, to extract clear energy and strengthen the original spirit. Little did he know that he almost killed Zulong's third sister with an axe. Wisps of clear air drifted out of the furnace, all absorbed by Cangming Yuanci. Under the blessing of clear qi, the primordial spirit is comprehending the Tao form of the water genus, experiencing a sense of tranquility in the water rhyme. Cangming has already entered the country, and his heart is peaceful. After receiving nourishment, the primordial spirit transmitted waves of comfort, and all the evil energy contaminated was wiped out, leaving no trace of future troubles. In his artistic conception, Cangming rode a flat boat on the vast and boundless water surface, unrestrained and uncertain in any direction, swaying with the waves of the water. From the birth of a divine being, Cangming has mastered the power of the Tao. What he needs to do is to have more subtle control and comprehend it to become the Tao. As the clear energy dissipated, Cangming also stopped his spiritual realization, and the chaotic essence in the Guishu furnace was almost exhausted. Cangming looked out at the innate evil energy, which was accumulated in the sky, blocking most of the starlight and the essence of chaos. He took out the divine axe of destruction, with its head shining brightly and its surface covered in feng shui and fire patterns. The blade of the axe was adorned with black light flowing through it. Kai Tian Shenshan, Zhou. The starlight giant appeared in the cave. Open. Cangming was in his own cave, exerting all his strength without retaining his divine power. The axe light that appeared this time was more condensed than last time, appearing as a black solid and chopping at the accumulation of evil energy. Click, click. There was a slight crack in the sky, which then spread to all sides. The surrounding evil energy surged to make up for the crack and froze with the axe light. Silver-white starlight and chaotic essence emerged from it, and the Milky Way sensed the rich and liquefied starlight, shining brightly. Cangming took this opportunity to divide some of the Milky Way and infiltrate the cracks, attracting innate starlight and the essence of chaos. The final gap closes, and only the part where the Milky Way infiltrates cannot be cut off, forming a small special channel. Cangming watched as the silver starlight and chaotic essence flowed continuously into the Guishu cave, unable to suppress his joy and burst into laughter. From now on, there will be no worries in practicing. The Milky Way introduces starlight and essence into the Guishu divine furnace, where vortices rotate and silver and black light collide. The innate primordial energy emerges in patches from the 7 holes, and within the cave, thousands of qi dance, forming a round bead in the center, with a myriad of colors and hues. Cangming was foolishly happy on the side, this time he had truly become rich, and his tense mind, which had been tense for many years, also relaxed slightly. He thought to himself that this silver starry light was the innate energy of the Tai-yin, and this axe chiseled into the Tai-yin star. I don't know if it will affect the innate sanctity of the Tai-yin star, but I can't handle so much. Cangming has a purple micro-star destiny, and this starry sky belongs to me. It's not too much to take things from my own home, is it? Cangming thought for a moment and also felt that it was very reasonable. Now that resources are abundant, we can refine the divine pearl of Aocang, which carries 365 main stars. Chaos knows no years, and one cannot appreciate the passage of time. With abundant Taiyin starlight and the essence of chaos, Guishu Cave has undergone a great transformation. Cangming, in these years and years, imitated the appearance of the vast and desolate world, and condensed a heavenly pillar in the center with innate turbidity. Opening up the sky and earth inside the cave, it is named Zhou Mountain. The Guishu divine stove is located on the mountaintop to guide the primordial energy of the heavens, nourish the sky with clear energy, transform turbid energy into land, and form a vast sea surrounded by the innate water spirit. The Milky Way remains the same as before, without any changes, enveloping the entire cave and transforming into the stars of the surrounding sky. On Zhou Mountain, there is a trace of the primordial energy formed by the innate elemental energy of the cave, which is transformed into a divine pearl, harmonizing the myriad energies of the returning world. At the star river of Cangming Yuanci, there are 365 main stars orbiting around the sun and moon, with the purple microstar Shadow residing in the center. He awakened divine power, deep and dark, with all the starlight disappearing and water vapor curling up. Pure water belongs to the Tao and has an aura. The gray vortex behind is faintly visible, constantly devouring the surrounding air machines. Ah, I didn't expect that I couldn't even copy my homework well. Cangming's face blushed slightly, as the road to the countryside had reached the threshold, but he couldn't step in with his other foot. However, this realm can also be considered a divine realm, blessed with spiritual treasures, its combat power is not lacking. It's also because he was born too early, which triggered the chi of Purple Star and led to changes in the path to return to the countryside. The step-by-step approach is no longer feasible, we need to go out and explore opportunities. Nowadays, the water spirit between heaven and earth belongs to the deep level of the dragon clan, so we should get close to each other. After finding the target, Cangming headed straight to the East China Sea. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Seeing the Dragon Clan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Seeing the Dragon Clan. The southern regions of the East China Sea. The vastness of the sea is unknown, neither its breadth nor its vastness. Children, form a formation to call for wind and rain. Obey me. 10 divine dragons of all sizes rose into the air, with bodies ranging from thousands to tens of thousands of feet. Water vapor condenses in the sky, and dark clouds suddenly rise, layer by layer dense. The divine dragon roars in the clouds, soaring in the sky, lifting its head to fill the mist and swallowing it. In a moment, there was a great storm, the wind in the clouds was bone-biting, and the water in the rain was heavy water. The fierce beast's Shachi armor below was blown with a quack sound, and the continuous dripping of rainwater was as heavy as 10,000 pounds, making the sea beast dizzy and disoriented. The sea beasts erupted into fierce attacks, leaping out of the sea and colliding with the clouds. The divine dragon formed an array in the clouds, with its breath connected to resist the attacks of sea beasts. Only one large sea beast, wielding its claws and striking the clouds. The divine dragon in the formation was shaken and its scales were shattered, bleeding and dripping into the sea. The sea beasts below smelled the smell of blood and became even crazier. Aocang saw that someone was injured, and the water vapor in the air was already enough for him to use the lightning technique. He directly transformed into his true form, and the 100,000 zhang green dragon plunged straight into the clouds. Ah, roar! Lightning and thunder. The sky is shrouded in black clouds, with lightning shining and thunder roaring. Lightning flashed across the sky, and the sea rolled under the storm. Thunderbolts cut through the sky one after another, chopping towards the sea beasts. They let out mournful screams, their bodies trembled, and finally fell into the sea with black smoke. Only the huge sea beast remained stubbornly resisting, and Aocang transformed into a human, holding a long halberd. Qinglong halberd, accompanied by Aocang, is an innate top-grade spiritual treasure. Go to hell. Aocang transformed into a giant of 100,000 zhang, with a green dragon halberd in his hand shining with lightning, and swung towards the sea beast. The sea beast was somewhat numbed by lightning, and barely reached out its sharp claws to block the blue dragon halberd. Between the collision of thunder and evil energy, the sky and earth changed color, and the evil energy scattered and the armor layer shattered. The surrounding divine dragon flew far away after collecting sea beasts from the sea, emitting waves of dragon chants to cheer on the green dragon. The sea beast was shattered by its Sha-Chi armor, and lightning struck its body, emitting waves of black smoke mixed with a strange fragrance. Woo-woo, the sea beast couldn't help but scream, and Aocang kept waving his long halberd in his hand. Finally, he gathered his divine power and stabbed the sea beast's head, taking its life. The king is mighty. The divine dragons shouted in waves. Aocang withdrew the Qinglong halberd and waved his hand, sprinkling a layer of armor and wood to heal the injured divine dragon. Children. You are so good at guarding the ferocious beasts of the prisoners. Let's go somewhere else and take a look. We must kill them this time. Yes. A group of dragons soaring towards the north in the mist. Cangming only appeared after watching these dragons fly away. Is this Qinglong? He's so imposing. We need to find a way to get in touch with them. In an instant, his mind flashed and he came up with a good solution. Water pulse, lead. Cangming burrowed into the sea and used the power of his water veins to move beside a sea snake. The sea snake coiled its body and had a restrained breath, sleeping soundly in the sea. Its breath swirled the seawater into two vortices, and passing small sea beasts were sucked in directly to become food. Cangming condensed seawater and a brainwave collapsed on the snake's head, shattering its Sha-Chi armor and causing black-brown blood to flow out of the snake's head. The sea snake woke up from its sleep in pain and was extremely angry. Its head twisted and searched in all directions, occasionally sticking out its tongue to catch its breath. At this moment, Cangming has already gone far and deliberately left a breath along the way. After smelling its breath, the sea snake swam towards Cangming with bright red eyes. Cangming calculated the distance well, getting stuck in the path that Qinglong and his companions must pass by, emitting a faint divine light. Shaoqing, Aocang in the air sensed an aura similar to his elder brother Aocang ahead. Divine Lord. Aocang looked ahead and saw a young man in black standing in the air on the sea, with a serene and mysterious aura flowing around him. He has also seen a few non-dragon gods around the East China Sea, and he has no impression of this one at the moment. Aocang transformed into a human figure and bowed respectfully, saying, I have seen the Divine Lord. You don't need to be polite, Taoist friends, Cangming waved his hand and said softly. The practice of practicing Shintoism is also a way, and we also refer to each other as our friends. Aocang, seeing how polite this deity was, even referred to him as a Taoist friend and said with some trepidation, I, Aocang, the younger brother of the ancestral dragon, cannot be called a Taoist friend. You're welcome, Daoyu Aocang. My name is Cangming, and I've heard of the ancestral dragon's reputation. I still need Daoyu to introduce me. It's easy to say, Big Brother will definitely feel delighted when he sees God Zun. Okay, then that's how we agreed. Cangming pretended to be going to the Dragon Palace with Aocang. At this moment, his mind had already sensed the breath of the giant snake, but Aocang had not yet reacted. It seemed that this snake's technique of restraining breath was also remarkable. As the giant snake approached, Aocang finally sensed that a fierce aura was raging in the distance, fearing that a big guy had arrived. He immediately took out the green dragon halberd and held it in his hand, quickly saying, Cangming Divine Lord, there is a sea beast approaching. But before the meeting, Cangming remained calm and said calmly, Don't worry, Taoist friend. Let's see how I handle it. And the angry head of the giant snake has surfaced. The snake's eyes flickered with a fierce red light, and the seawater was squeezed by its huge body, causing towering waves to rise. The visible head alone was as huge as 100,000 zhang. Cangming's body was only 9 feet tall, but in the vision of a giant snake, this enchanting creature was already half the size of its own head. Aocang's grip on the long halberd turned slightly white, and the dragon clan behind him was already unable to move due to the malevolent pressure. Cold sweat flowed out of his forehead, indicating that the power of this giant snake was too strong. The giant snake stared fixedly at Cangming. It was this guy who disturbed his sleep. A cruel expression flashed in his eyes, and his evil energy was pressing down on Cangming, crushing them into pieces. As if the ominous pressure from the sky was pouring, Aocang couldn't help but want to take action. On the side, Cangming waved his sleeve and casually pointed at the sea surface. Gathering. The sea surged upwards, and in an instant, a giant holding a black divine axe appeared in the air. Muscles twisted and twisted, with a loud gulp, thunderous sounds rushed towards the evil energy, causing the layer of evil energy to click and burst open. Pan. Ancient. The giant snake trembles with fear and flies with its soul. Turning my head, I wanted to run away, and there was a smell coming from the tail. Open. The giant let out a loud roar once again, and the entire body of the giant snake froze in the sea. In that moment, the axe light has already cut through the snake's head, breaking through space and flying into chaos. At this time, the vast expanse has just begun, and the path of heaven and earth has not yet stabilized. The power of wind, water, and fire still surged in the space, but the intention of destruction did not reappear. Cangming guided the space to inhale the snake body and refine treasures with the power of heaven and earth. The space is closed, and an armor appears in the air. It is a top-grade spiritual treasure from the day after tomorrow, with 25 layers of treasure prohibition. Not bad. Right. Cangming casually flew the armor to Aocang's side and said, "Friend Dao, when we first met, we didn't have any good items. I'll give you this armor." Aocang and the people behind him were suppressed by the power of Pangu, with only the axe light that pierced through heaven and earth in their eyes. Taoist friend. Divine Lord, it's impolite to take photos under the divine authority. Aocang looked at Cangming with a look of admiration, and behind him, all the divine dragons were fanatical. Among them, a few dragon women looked at Cangming with peach blossoms in their eyes. I didn't expect that although Cangming Shenzuan looks a bit too delicate, his divine strength is not small. They were unaware that Cangming appeared calm and composed on the surface, and his fingers hidden in his long sleeves trembled slightly. Take it, Taoist friend. Ah. God, this item is too valuable. Aocang looked conflicted, and the armor fit quite well. It's just a small thing, there's no need for that. I'll be ashamed to receive it, thank you very much, God. Aocang happily bowed his hand in gratitude. Cangming nodded with a smile and thought to himself, just accept it. Fishing requires laying a nest first. Mo Daolong Palace has no treasures, and one side's power is always richer than a single person. After tidying up the mess, Aocang pulled the water pulse, communicated with the water eye, and moved everyone to the Dragon Palace. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Zulong Aocang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Zulong Aocang. Cangming and Aocang, along with a group of divine dragons, had just emerged from the congenital water eye when they heard a burst of heroic laughter. I believe this must be a friend of Cangming Taoist. On behalf of my second younger brother, I have thanked you for your gift of treasures. Cangming has met a Taoist friend, just a small thing, there is no need to thank him. You're welcome, Taoist. We'll enter the Dragon Palace first, and then discuss it in detail. Please. Aocang immediately invited Cangming into the Dragon Palace to have a conversation. Please. At present, Cangming and Aocang walked side by side into the Dragon Palace. Cangming looked at the Dragon Palace, which was mainly built with crystal spiritual materials. It was crystal clear and had divine light shining through. The entire palace appeared magnificent and magnificent. There is no doubt in my heart that this dragon tribe is truly wealthy. At the main entrance of the dragon palace, important figures of the dragon clan were already waiting. When they saw Cangming, who came side by side with the ancestral dragon, they all bowed and said, "I have seen the divine Lord Cangming." Seeing this battle, Cangming was delighted in his heart and bowed back. I think Aocang is quite clever, knowing to inform Zulong with a secret method beforehand. Aocang saw that Cangming was also very particular about people, so he laughed and said, Cangming Daoist friend, let's go to the main hall together and introduce me to the dragon clan Erlang. The dragon clan is a great clan in the wilderness, and I happen to want to get to know each other, Cangming replied politely. A group of people sat down in the main hall, and Aocang recommended the dragon princess Aoli, the elder Aocang, and the general Aoxian to Cangming. Among them, Cangming always felt that the beautiful dragon girl's gaze at him was somewhat strange, and he didn't know why. Daoist friend, this vast and desolate world has just opened up, and all things are dormant. The resources are not very abundant. Come and taste the drunken spring wine of my dragon palace. Cangming saw that Aocang had already raised his glass to invite him, and he also raised his crystal wine glass in his hand to drink it all in one gulp. The color is light and elegant, with a charming aroma. Drinking a refreshing breath in one gulp directly reaches the essence, making it a great wine. As long as you like it, it's good. My dragon palace water eye can produce thousands of water, and this drunken spring is also innate. It has a unique flavor to drink. Drink more, Taoist. With fine wine, why can't there be no dance music to accompany you? Play music and dance. At the command of Aocang, a group of white-clad dragon women danced gracefully in the main hall, accompanied by hazy water vapor. The dragon woman in the mist danced gracefully with the music, her graceful figure appearing faintly, and she was like a dream under the reflection of the pearl light in the hall. Everyone in the hall was mesmerized by it, accompanied by the fine wine in their hands, and they all patted their palms to praise goodness. After finishing a dance, everyone continued to drink and chat, without using their divine power to turn the alcohol away. They only wanted to be slightly tipsy. Amidst the interplay of wine and chips, Cangming and Zulong had already become brothers. Aocang's face turned red as he took out a congenital treasure and flew towards Cangming, saying, "Cangming, my dear brother, you and I are like old friends at first sight. As my elder brother, I don't have many good things. This heavy water divine pearl is a mid-grade spiritual treasure in heaven, containing infinite water, which is suitable for you to use. Take it." Cangming was also pleased and immediately accepted it. "Brother, I dare not say goodbye." "Okay, it's refreshing and fast, drink." Everyone continued to drink happily. Cangming has been living in the Dragon Palace for a period of time, discussing Taoism with his ancestors multiple times and complementing each other's strengths and weaknesses. In addition, they are all members of the water spirit family, and their relationship is becoming increasingly harmonious. The two of them agreed to kill the giant sea beasts in the southern region together in a while. Cangming also promised to help the dragon clan refine a batch of acquired spiritual treasures. Although the dragon clan has thousands of innate divine dragons, less than 100 of them have accompanying spiritual treasures, and most divine dragons still lack weapons. Coincidentally, Cangming was skilled in refining weapons and returned to Guishu with the spiritual materials provided by the Dragon Palace. He created a timed spiritual treasure and returned to the Dragon Palace at the agreed time. Aocang watched as Cangming left and solemnly explained to Aocang and Aoli behind him, second younger brother, third sister, Cangming's wise younger brother is not inferior to me. He needs to make good friends and cannot be neglected. Yes, big brother. Aocang and Aoli replied solemnly. Returning to the countryside, Cangming looked contented. Although the Dragon Palace was good, it was not my hometown. He first took out the heavy water divine pearl and paired it with the clear chi-boosting primordial spirit to accelerate the refining speed. The heavenly treasure of the heavenly treasure, heavenly treasure, has 18 layers and contains an infinite amount of heavy water. One drop is like 10,000 Jun, but Cangming doesn't want its killing power. Maintaining the main body of the Kaitian divine form requires the most divine power. With the heavy water divine pearl, one can use the innate heavy water as the body to construct the Pangu divine form. With the combination of the Star River and the Destruction divine axe, there will no longer be the problem of the divine form collapsing with just one axe. Zulong has a heart, truly a good brother. Cangming also felt that Zulong could interact with him, so he decided to spend time refining the spiritual treasures that the dragon clan needed. Speaking of which, the heavenly spirit treasure's killing power is not inferior to that of the innate spirit treasure, and the single main killer is even better. However, even the weakest innate spiritual treasure is born from heaven and earth, containing innate indestructible spiritual light, while the internal Tao is self-generated. Understanding the Shinto is of great use and not easily damaged. Killing enemies does not involve cause and effect, and cannot be calculated. And the postnatal spiritual treasure is only imprinted with the laws of heaven and earth, refined by postnatal cultivation, and requires constant cultivation to maintain its level without falling. Cangming's one-axe divine power has already spread in the Dragon Palace. A group of divine dragons blushed and asked him if he could refine spiritual treasures of the axe type. Out of 10, 9 requested it, and 1 requested a double axe. Cangming couldn't help but laugh and cry when he heard these words, but he still responded to their request. Axe weapons have a miraculous effect on huge sea beasts, and with their simple structure, Cangming's refining is also relatively easy. A large number of people means great power. These spiritual materials have all piled up into a mountain. Cangming poured the spiritual materials out of the Shumi pearl and piled them up into a small mountain in the returning village. He summoned the Guishu divine stove and threw all the spiritual materials into it. The sunlight and divine water were shining brightly, and all the spiritual materials melted under the wrapping of the divine water. Although the 3-light divine water carries the word water, it has nothing to do with the water genus. It is formed by the condensation of sunlight, moon, and starlight to the extreme and is essentially starlight. At the beginning of heaven, there were too many spiritual materials, thanks to the blessings of superior materials. Cangming prepared to refine 3,000 axes in one breath with the help of the Guishu divine stove, which imprinted the changes in the firmness and softness of water. Make the axe more resilient, and add a little chaos divine iron to the axe blade to ensure its sharpness. The refined axe, with a dark blue overall, will enter the lower limit of the lower-grade spiritual treasure. Originally, Cangming made it as a standard weapon for use in the Dragon Clan divine and human realm. After finishing the task of refining weapons, Cangming was also considering his relationship with the Dragon Clan. He wanted to maintain closeness but could not fully integrate into it. The 3 tribes were calculated by Luo Gui, and in the end, they suffered heavy casualties, with 1 or 2 known dangers. From the perspective of the overall situation of heaven and earth, the 3 tribes are destined to decline. Heaven and earth are constantly developing, and the 3 realms of heaven, earth, and man need to be balanced. The 4 spiritual realms alone are not enough to support the development of heaven and earth, so there was 100 flowers blooming later on. With the improvement of Cangming's realm, my understanding of the overall situation has deepened, and I have already made vague guesses. However, I still need to continue observing the development of heaven and earth to confirm my conjecture. He has a purple star destiny within him and needs to comprehend the evolution of humanity. Nowadays, it is difficult to improve his realm, which is also why he actively approaches the Dragon Clan. Now the main star of the Milky Way, 365, has been lit up, reaching a high level of refinement. The weapon of attack and destruction also includes the breaking divine axe, which is paired with the heavenly star dough to construct the heavenly divine form using heavy water divine beads, sufficient for self-protection. If you encounter a difficult situation to face, simply use the power of the Milky Way to move back to the countryside and hide. Cangming had a plan at this time to fully assist the Dragon Clan in unifying the four seas. As for the competition between the Dragon Clan, Qilin, and Phoenix, what he needs to do is to blend in less or even not. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. The Great God of War and the Fierce Beast in the Respected Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. The Great God of War, Honored Realm, Fierce Beast. The southern regions of the East China Sea. The vast sea of the Dragon Clan army covers the sky and the sun, their divine powers manifest themselves, and clouds follow the dragons. White clouds cover a group of divine dragons. Aocang and Cangming stood in front of the army. My dear brother, this is the sea beast nest. Inside, there are two sea beast kings, one male and one female, which can be compared to the divine realm. There are hundreds of sea beasts in the heavenly realm, and countless below the divine realm. Aocang said solemnly to Cangming, this time he has used the strength of the entire clan to launch an attack on the southern sea beast lair. Don't worry, brother. I have a big formation called Little Zhou Tianqingdou Formation. Later, my brother will sit in the sun star position, and I will sit in the Taiyin star position. There will be 365 heavenly gods sitting in the main star of the formation, with 14,000 divine beings turning into auxiliary stars. An additional 3,000 axe wielders will be added to the formation. When the formation is formed, it transforms into a starry sky that can drive endless starlight to destroy enemies, enough to cover the beast's nest. The destruction of the southern sea beasts is now. Cangming gazed at the lair of the sea beasts, wielding a strong and powerful force, and while chatting and laughing, he had already decided on his marching strategy. Very good, very good. Good brother, hurry up. A group of divine dragons heard that Cangming had such a divine formation, and their morale was greatly boosted. Ancestral dragons were thrilled to hear it, and behind them, Aocang had a passionate expression. Aoli, who usually had a cold personality, also had a hint of admiration in his eyes. Come on, stand up. Cangming shouted an order, and the starlight on his robe danced straight towards the sky. The stars dotted the sky, making everyone dizzy and mesmerized. Lead in. The gods returned to their positions. The sun star and Taiyin star in the formation each emitted a starlight, pulling Aocang and Cangming to the center of the stars. The sun and the sun are parallel, with 365 main stars and 14,000 auxiliary stars shining brightly. The divine dragons below were all led into the formation, and the pressure spread everywhere. The distant sea beasts felt a crisis coming. The divine realm sea beasts on the small island in the middle couldn't help but roar loudly. This sea beast has arrived at the divine realm, but its body size has actually decreased. Its muscles and bones have condensed its innate evil energy, and it has merged into one, immortal throughout history. Starry sky moves. Starlight covers the sky and the earth, directly drawing the animal nest into the formation, hidden in the sky and earth, with hidden killing intent within the formation. Listen to my command on the heavens and stars. Lead. The majestic gravitational force of the stars appeared in the formation, causing the surrounding space to be pulled and twisted. Sea beasts that did not reach the divine realm were directly compressed into blood mist. The sea beasts in the divine realm are directly suppressed and lie on the sea, while the sea beasts in the heavenly realm are firmly bound, facing numerous difficulties step by step. 365 main stars and 14,000 auxiliary stars stabilize the formation. The heavy axe wielder sets out to kill the sea beasts in the heavenly god realm and capture the sea beasts in the divine man realm. As Cangming ordered and the formation changed, the dragon clan remained motionless in the heavenly divine realm, divine human realm. The space inside the formation is separated, the sea beasts are dispersed, and the heavy axe hand has entered, dividing and attacking them. Starlight turns armor. The starlight within the formation covers 3,000 axe wielders, forming a starlight armor on their bodies. Kill. The heavy axe wielder became excited and agitated when he saw armor added to his body, and rushed into the small space with the large axe in hand. The sea beasts in the divine realm, who were suppressed by the town, served with axes and knocked unconscious, and were directly taken into the Summer Pearl to settle the matter. However, the sea beasts in the heavenly god realm were surrounded and could only withstand the attack with difficulty. Happy. The 3,000 heavy axe wielder has become a madman, with waves of axe light and the mournful cries of sea beasts echoing in the array. At this moment, the two divine realm sea beasts at the core of the formation are vigorously colliding with the large formation, causing ripples. The blood in my eyes is about to overflow, but the formation is too firm and useless. Brother, we have one head each. Okay. Zulong transformed into his true form, with countless water shadows surrounding his body. 36 sea god beads hovered among them, and he flew towards one of the sea beasts. Cangming was not idle either. The heavenly water divine pearl transformed into an infinite amount of water, and a giant with a wild aura appeared in the formation, wielding a destructive axe. Zulong's side has already taken action. Each of the Dinghai divine beads has immeasurable divine power, as it descends towering waves and contains infinite changes in the world and water. The sea beast has nowhere to hide and can only resist alone. The gravitational force of the stars within the formation greatly weakens its speed. The sea beast's attack is relatively single, relying on the undamaged large body of King Kong, extreme speed, and the destructive power of evil energy. In the past, it used to be a strategy that was widely accepted. When encountering opponents like Cangming who had many means, they could only be restrained to the death. Renertong's divine power, bound by starlight, has nowhere to be exerted. Zulong and Cangming attacked at the same time, and Cangming couldn't directly use the heavenly axe on his side. He was afraid of destroying the formation, but only controlled the giant and sea beasts to fight. On the side of Zulong, there was a great momentum, and the sea beasts had been trapped layer by the huge waves. Zulong's body was swimming in the waves. Heavy water is squeezing the body of the sea beast, drowning seeping into its mouth and nose. The 9-in water is icy and piercing, and the ice layer on the sea beast's body spreads. Haha, hurry. On weekdays, this sea beast wants to escape, and I can't stop it either. Now, it's bound by the big formation and at my mercy. Dinghai Shenju, fall. In the wave of Zulong's body merging, there was no intention of going forward for hand-to-hand combat. The falling force of the sea god pearl caused the entire formation to tremble, and the sea shook uncontrollably. The huge impact spreads in all directions, creating a blue divine light that interweaves with mist, starlight, and animal blood. The sea beast is comparable to the body of an innate spiritual treasure, with shattered scales and blood splattering. Before it could make a sound, a new wave struck again, one after another. Never stop. At this time, the combat style was relatively simple and unadorned, without the intricate changes in later divine powers. Each move opened and closed, driving the power of the Tao, just like Tianwei. Zulong had an overwhelming advantage over the sea beasts and was waiting for them to slowly fade away. On Cangming's side, wielding a powerful weapon such as the destruction divine axe, every time he chops, there is a surge of wind, water, and fire, and the black destructive power tears apart, especially restraining the body of the sea beast's evil energy. Under the dual suppression of the gravitational force of starlight and the power of Pangu's divine form, sea beasts can only passively defend. The divine axe in the hand of the god has transformed into a single-handed axe, with a seemingly large body but incredibly flexible in weaving through the starlight. The end has come for Zulong's side. The sea beast is floating on the sea, no longer in animal form, with broken bones and muscles all over, and it has been smashed into a puddle of meat. Woo, seeing that his companion's breath had dissipated, the sea beasts roared and made waves of grief, rushing towards the ancestral dragon like madness. Cangming saw the sea beasts showing their flaws and seized the opportunity. Slash. The divine axe grew larger, and the divine form held the axe in both hands. Under the guidance of starlight, it appeared at the neck of the sea beast. A black light flashed past, causing the sea beast's head and body to separate, and animal blood to gush out. Southern Beast King, destroy. Huh, my wise brother's divine axe is sharp enough. Brother, I'm flattering you. These two sea beast corpses are of great use to me. Can you give them up, brother? It's a small matter, just take it away. Thank you very much, brother. You don't need to be polite between us. There are treasures in this sea beast lair, and we will share them later. Okay, I won't be polite to my brother anymore. Cangming collected the corpses of the sea beasts and prepared to extract the evil energy inside, which would be used to nourish and destroy the divine axe. The roar of sea beasts in the formation is gradually fading, it's time to end it. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Yuanci Shenshan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Yuanci Shenshan. With the destruction of the sea beasts, Cangming withdrew from the formation, and the dragon clan appeared on the sea surface, with some ethereal divine power on his body and a flushed face. Just now, I used the Zayas Hushan formation to kill the enemy, but it only consumed my divine power. There was no casualties on my side, and everyone looked at Cangming with admiration. Cangming also took out 100 drops of the 3 light divine water, and in the midst of the wind and rain, the 3 light divine water turned into a misty drizzle, falling on the people to replenish their divine power. Zulong's face couldn't conceal his joy. Just now, the clan members captured countless sea beasts in the formation, with hundreds of them in the heavenly god realm. Although these sea beasts are transformed into divine dragons through the dragon transformation pool, their realm will be lower, but with the growth of their population, their clan luck will surely reach another level. First, let's go back to the dragon palace. My wise brother Cangming and I will sweep the animal nest. Respect your fate. The divine dragons drew the power of the water one after another, and the blue light flashed, moving back to the dragon palace first. And Cangming and Zulong flew towards the animal nest to explore what good treasures there were. The sea beast's nest is a deserted island, shrouded in a flood of evil energy at this moment, and there are no plants in the world, so they cannot survive at all. On the bare island, there was a huge cave entrance, and the two of them flew straight in. The evil energy inside the cave was slowly dissipating, and without the maintenance of the Beast King, it was like a root without a duckweed. Young man, have you sensed it? There seems to be other chi sources here. It doesn't seem like a bad energy. During their conversation, 2 precious lights flew out of the cave and floated in front of them. Innate spiritual treasure. The two exclaimed in unison. One is a golden mace, and the other is a dark mountain. The two of them looked at the situation with somewhat complicated eyes and knew how these 2 spiritual treasures came from. Alas, this evil energy is truly despicable. A good innate divine, harmed by evil energy, has become a ferocious beast. It is sad and lamentable. I, Aocang, swear here to sweep away the evil energy and return heaven and earth to a bright future. This scene aroused Aocang's empathy. Both of them were born sacred, and the 2 of them in the cave came to such an end. They were full of fighting spirit and swore on the spot. Okay. Brother has such great ambitions, I will lend a helping hand. Sweep away the evil energy in this world. Cangming did not fall behind at all, immediately indicating that he was incompatible with the ferocious beast. Good brother. Together, we can accomplish great things. The 2 of them reached out their hands and tightly grasped each other, making a vow that they would never give up until their evil energy was broken. At present, there are 2 innate spiritual treasures, 1 for each person. Aocang lacks weapons, so the small mace is well prepared and suitable. Cangming then collects the divine mountain. After the 2 parted ways, they both prepared to return to the cave to seclude and refine their spiritual treasures. Aocang drew the power of the water eye and moved it to the dragon palace, while Cangming was led back to the ruins by the starlight. The world has been slowly expanding within the Guishu area. Cangming has also made a new opening. He can't keep catching the Taiyin star to collect wool. If the innate divine development on the Taiyin star is underdeveloped, wouldn't that be a sin? The opening this time happened to be in the starry sky, with 3 colors of gold, silver, and purple, which were relatively balanced. Shaozhou Mountain has already grown in size, and the brilliant colors of the Xiantian Yuanci source on top have become increasingly thick, with a tendency to liquefy. Cangming planned to take some flowers and plants from the vast expanse of heaven and earth, plant them in the cave, and carefully build some pavilions to decorate them well, after clearing away the innate evil energy. He summoned the Guishu divine stove and threw the sea beast corpse directly into it, leaving it aside and not managing it again. As it slowly refined, the materials this time were not ordinary, and the time would be longer. Look at the root of this sacred mountain. Cangming took out the divine mountain, and the power of returning to the ruins emerged behind him. A gray and misty vortex and shadow shape appeared. After touching the treasure of the divine mountain, a message appeared in Cangming's elemental spirit. Yuanci Shenshan, a top-grade spiritual treasure of 32 forbidden items, contains Yuanci Honghuang and the method of breaking the 5 elements. It can suppress the surrounding space, but the escape method cannot be used. It can also transform into an immeasurable giant peak to suppress enemies, and has the ability to achieve both size and success. Good Lingbao, it can be used as a stabilizing element in the little Zhou Tian star battle formation. Starlight gravity can suppress physical strength, while this elemental magnetic divine light suppresses Tao's divine power, perfectly complementing each other. This time, the space inside the formation is even more solid, and even with the ability to escape, one cannot escape. Cangming thought to himself that before the dragon tribe was plundered, their fortunes were flourishing, and the heavens and earth were working together at the same time, so he could still enjoy the joy. It's possible to accumulate some wealth. No one wants too many innate spiritual treasures. Let's eat what's in the bowl first. Cangming is preparing to refine the Yuanci divine mountain, and the realm of divine sovereign happens to be able to refine top-grade innate spiritual treasures. The innate clear air at the top of Shaozhou Mountain and the 3 lights divine water rushing towards Cangming amidst the Milky Way. He is now wealthy, with innate clear energy and natural energy that can be easily absorbed, and the 3 radiances divine water can be used to bathe his divine body. Time is like a white horse passing through a gap, fleeting in a blink of an eye, with countless years in the sky. The Guishu divine stove has worn away the body of the sea beast. The shattered divine axe floats above the divine furnace, and wisps of evil and turbid energy rise in succession. After being fully absorbed, the axe becomes even more profound as a whole, and the blade of the axe exudes a hint of coldness, with an unbeatable sharpness. The remaining materials of the sea beast were added to it by Cangming, who prepared to refine 2 pieces of armor and send them to Aocang and Aoli. The power of returning to the ruins within the divine furnace rotates and flows, with chaotic divine iron stars intermingled in the liquid of sea beasts. In the end, the 2 armor pieces inside the divine furnace were completed. They were generally plain and unadorned, appearing black and gray. They looked as thin as cicada wings, but their strength should not be underestimated. After all, they were refined from the divine realm of sea beasts and chaotic divine iron, and belonged to the top level of the 36 layers of forbidden and acquired spiritual treasures. Cangming tucked them all into his sleeve, shrouded in starlight, and moved them directly onto the sea surface. He took out a water eye from the Dragon Palace, crushed it, and arrived at the Dragon Palace. The Crystal Dragon Palace remains majestic and towering, with many palaces expanded. It seems that the Dragon clan has recently added many new members. The divine dragon guarding the water eye saw Cangming walking out of it and immediately bowed. "I have seen Cangming." Cangming nodded and walked towards the main hall where Aocang lived. "Brother Cangming, you're here. A crisp shout came from behind. Cangming turned his head and saw that it was the dragon maiden Aocang who was calling him, dressed in a white long dress, standing tall and graceful, with a joyful expression on his face. "Third sister, you happen to be here. Let's go see your big brother together." Aocang naturally walked beside Cangming, and the two walked side by side to Aocang's residence. Aocang already knew that Cangming was coming and was waiting for him at the door. "Huh, wise brother, you want to harm me too?" He strode forward and hugged Cangming's shoulder. "I have prepared the fine wine and am waiting for my wise brother. Third sister, go and call my second brother over, let's have a good drink." "Yes." Aocang looked at his elder brother with a disdainful expression and turned towards Aocang's residence. At this time, the gods are not usually idle and practicing, and their homes are also isolated from the gods. A small magic weapon similar to a doorbell will be placed at the door. Aocang and Cangming sat in their seats, and the wine glasses and wine were already placed. The innate divine does not like to eat meat, and feeds on qi and spiritual water. These spiritual objects also have little taste. The drunken spring condensed by Aocang's water eye is now a precious thing. Speaking of which, Cangming also has a feeling of missing this drunken spring. "Brother Cangming!" Aocang's shout came from afar. The four of them sat together around the table, mainly drinking alcohol, and also saying that they had recently gained insights. As the wine reached its climax, Cangming's face showed a slight blush. He took out two precious armor pieces and said, "Brother and third sister, these two armor pieces were carefully crafted by me. Thank you for your kind consideration." Aocang also regarded Cangming as his own brother, took over the treasure armor and carefully explored it, praising him, "My dear brother, this weapon refining skill is becoming more and more exquisite. I will accept it." Aocang appeared somewhat shy, her pretty face turning red. After pausing for a moment, she also took the treasure armor and timidly said, "Thank you, brother Cangming." Aocang already had a treasure armor and said with a smile, "It's all from his own family." Brother Cangming gave it to him, "Just take it." The four of them chatted and laughed with delicious wine, and finally decided to unite the East China Sea. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Unification of the East China Sea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Unification of the East China Sea. East China Sea region. The army of the Dragon Clan is as imposing as a rainbow, connecting the western and northern domains of the East China Sea. Strangely, there is no beast king in these two domains, and now only the eastern domain remains. On the vast eastern territory, the army of the Dragon Clan advanced rapidly in the air, soaring through the clouds and mist. The silence along the way was somewhat terrifying. "My dear brother, there is something unusual here. We marched here, but we didn't find any sea beasts in the surrounding area. I also noticed that the eastern regions were too quiet, and the Yuanci was slightly uneasy. But it's not a big deal either. With a large number of people and the power of a wise brother's formation, we can just crush them. What my elder brother said is, you can't be afraid of everything." Aocang and Cangming exchanged a few words, and the army continued to advance. Clouds curled up, carrying everyone forward. The journey was too peaceful, and this area was lifeless, with only the sound of waves rising and falling. As we delved deeper, there were no more waves, and the sea was like a flat mirror, a pool of stagnant water, with no waves on the surface. "Good brother. Let's go to battle." Big formation. Both of them sensed danger and reacted at the same time. The small Zhou Tian star dough formation instantly spread out, and the gods returned to the formation and hid inside. Just as they disappeared, four cracks appeared in the space behind them, emitting wisps of black smoke, shattering everything around them. "Jie Jie! Jie Jie, how fast you are hiding!" Cangming saw a strange humanoid creature in the formation. The eagle had horns on its head, wings on its back, and 4 claws on its hands, shining with cold light. The strike just now was caused by these claws. Surprisingly, there is a humanoid ferocious beast, brother. It has the power to break through the air, and if you form a large formation, there may be casualties. I will directly summon the Kaitian divine form to fight against it. Okay, wise brother, it's up to you. Kaitian Shenshan, gather. This time, Cangming has undergone some changes in his divine form. Aocang, with the Dinghai divine pearl, integrates into the heavy water as his body, providing immeasurable divine power. Aocang wood transforms thunder into yang and occupies the position of the sun, while Ao Ligui water thrives endlessly, forming the position of Taiyin. The other dragon tribes form the tendons and collaterals, with Cangming occupying the position of the purple micro-divine aperture as the center, controlling the overall situation. The divine form in the formation has been condensed, with an axe in the right hand and a crack appearing in the surrounding area as the space clicks. So strong. This feeling is intoxicating. The fierce beast outside the formation showed a playful look in its eyes, not in a hurry at all. It had already caught its breath and looked at how long the prey in the formation could hide. Just as it was thinking about how to slaughter its prey. Dong, dong, dong. The sound of heartbeat appeared within the divine body of Kaitian, echoing in the sea, and the sea trembled and rippled. The heart of the eagle-faced ferocious beast was beating uncontrollably, and its gaze gradually became more serious. It is the remains of the chaos demon god mixed with innate evil energy, and the divine soul has not been blinded by the evil energy. It has been growing up eating other sea beasts in the eastern domain. Recently, after secretly devouring the beast kings from the northern and western regions, I hid in the old nest of the eastern region to absorb them and was preparing to deal with those two beast kings from the southern region. I didn't expect to encounter a group of delicious on the road, and I became greedy. I originally wanted to sneak attack one or two and leave, but the prey hid too fast. It relies on its innate speed and fearlessness of crowds, guarding with great spikes on the side. Dong dong dong. The heart of the eagle-faced ferocious beast was beating faster and faster, and the sense of unease grew heavier. Its wings flapped and it flew further away. Zhou. Pangu's divine form walked out of the formation and let out a loud shout. The eagle-faced ferocious beast heard the sound, its soul trembled, and its body froze uncontrollably. Cangming seized this opportunity, and the starlight pulled the fierce beast close to the eagle's face. He lifted his axe in the form of a heavenly god and vigorously chopped towards the neck of the fierce beast. The sharp blade is forcing people, and the eagle-faced ferocious beast's bird feathers stand on top of its head in fear, spreading its wings and ready to flee. Yuanci Honghuang under the stirring of magnetic force, the space is twisted and turbulent, causing the fierce beast's daily ultimate speed to slow down and experience jerks. Cry. The sound of fierce beasts is pitiful. The axe light did not hit the neck, and the fierce beast barely dodged a step to the left, with one wing cut off from it. Cangming is not willing to let go. The elemental magnetic divine light and starlight gravity are open together, and the space is squeezed with a crackle sound. The space where the eagle-faced ferocious beast is located is turned into a swamp. Every inch of the animal's body is under compression. Pangu. The eagle-faced ferocious beast finally saw its divine form clearly, and the most profound memory in the inheritance emerged. Its animalistic and ferocious nature was completely stimulated, and it no longer wanted to run away. It turned around and rushed towards it, seeking revenge. Anger blinds the beast's soul. Death. Wave your claws and grab towards the divine head. Cangming looked at the fierce beast rushing towards him with an excited expression on its face, as long as he didn't run. The divine muscles are dilated, and the infinite divine power is transmitted from the spine formed by the connection of 30.6 stabilizing divine beads. Tens of thousands of divine dragons are the tendons, and all the divine power is concentrated on the breaking divine axe. Kill. Eagle-faced fierce beast claws collide with the divine axe of destruction. The invisible circle swept in all directions. Wherever you go, space turns into powder, giant black holes appear, and seawater is swallowed up by chaos. In an instant, an endless vortex formed, and a piece of the sea surface in the eastern region was directly missing. The eagle-faced ferocious beast is somewhat miserable, with its sharp claw tip directly shattered, its arm like a spirit treasure's bone broken, and its stubble piercing through its muscles. The power of the Kaitian divine form disabled one hand, and the eagle's beak spat out blood, sobering up in pain. The killing intent in its eyes instantly turned into panic. On the other hand, looking at the divine form, his arm just trembled for a moment, which was not a big deal. Cangming saw the fierce beast's face showing fear and wanted to escape. It's too late. Under the constraints of starlight gravity in metamagnetic divine light, ferocious beasts are like fish in a net, unable to move a single step. Open. The axe light condensed to the extreme cut off the fierce eagle-faced beast with one axe. Then it pierced through space and flew towards chaos. Scatter. The divine form of Kaitian dissipated, and a large number of divine dragons appeared on the sea. Looking at the battle scene in front of me, there was a moment of silence. Winning. Zulong was the first to shout out. Winning. Unify the East China Sea. Unify the East China Sea. Waves of dragon chanting, the divine dragons excitedly transformed into their true selves, hovering in the sky as it naturally began to rain. Cangming also watched with joy as the dragon clan celebrated, casually tucking the body of the fierce beast into his sleeve. With the boundless divine power of the ancestral dragon Dinghai divine pearl, the power of the heavenly divine form axe was invincible. After calming down his mood, Aocang transformed into a human and flew to Cangming's side. He smiled and said, "Young man, let's go explore the fierce beast cave." "Brother, let's go." The two of them searched for the fierce beast's aura and flew further east. The final destination has arrived, even smaller than the southern islands last time, and the entrance to the cave is also small. After flying in, inside is a different scenery. There was no evil energy in the cave, and there were pale animal bones everywhere. With a flick of Cangming's hand, the animal bones collapsed and turned into ashes, indicating that they had all decayed. This ferocious beast really has a good appetite, and I don't know how big its true body is. The more you fly inside, the more animal bones you have, until you reach the deepest nest of the ferocious beast. A fragment of jade hangs in mid-air, emitting a faint and clear light, surrounded by 4 spiritual treasures. "Brother, come first this time. What else do you want me to share? You can choose these first and leave some for me." This. Wise brother, hurry up and choose. If it's too late, I'm afraid I'll go back on my word. Then I won't be disrespectful. Cangming didn't continue to be polite either. He first collected the remaining jade in his bag and then casually took one from the side. "The rest will be given to Aocang." Aocang looked at the situation and collected all the remaining spiritual treasures, taking out one and giving it to Cangming. "You don't have to be humble, take it. Little spiritual treasure, how precious is the friendship between my 2 brothers. Thank you very much, brother." You, Aocang smiled as he looked at Cangming's humble expression. "This place is not very comfortable, brother, let's go." Cangming coughed twice, changed the topic, and the two of them flew out of the cave. At this moment, the divine dragon was still in celebration, and the power of everyone gathered together, exerting enough force to make heaven and earth tremble. Cangming Jun's formation, combined with the immeasurable divine power of the ancestral dragon sea god pearl, really doesn't know who else can withstand this heaven and earth. If Cangming knew their thoughts, he would definitely advise everyone to keep a low profile. He must know that there are people outside of us, and there are heavens outside of us. He should not be too proud. After parting ways with the others, Cangming returned to Guishu Cave and prepared to explore the remaining jade. It gave him an extraordinary feeling. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. The Foundation of the Great Way. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The Foundation of the Great Way. Guishu Dongtian. 3 innate spiritual treasures were hanging in front of Cangming, and he first carefully examined the remaining jade that emitted Taoist charm in his hand. The residual jade is mysterious and extraordinary, different from other innate spiritual treasures that have a complete meaning throughout the body. This jade is not only incomplete in appearance, but also in a state of incomplete innate spiritual light inside. I don't know how powerful it is to break it. As the primordial spirit enters, countless incomplete paths interweave together, becoming both 1 in 10,000. No, really lucky. Cangming suppressed the fluctuation of the Tao heart and savored the incomplete Tao in the jade. In my mind flashed information about the 3 treasures of the founding of heaven in my memory. Pangu axe, chaos green lotus, great way jade plate. Most of the innate spiritual treasures in the vast world are transformed by these 3 founding treasures. The Pangu axe transformation has 4 innate treasures. The yin-yang tai chi diagram, the Pangu flag, the chaos bell, and the 4 swords of the immortal slayer. It is also related to Cangming himself and the Pangu axe blade. And there are even more chaotic green lotus-shaped spiritual treasures, most of which are top-notch spiritual roots in the wilderness, top-quality spiritual treasures such as the innate 5 square flag, innate 5 lotus, 4 great divine lamps, and the killing treasure, the god-killing spear, transformed from the lotus stem. The Third Avenue jade plate is quite mysterious, only knowing that half of it is in the hands of Honghuang, known as the creation jade plate. The remaining half suffered from the great apocalypse, either retreating into chaos or merging with heaven and earth, with few fragments in this world. Cangming brings innate clear energy to bless the primordial spirit, and comprehends the residual jade. Countless paths within the residual jade flow, and the subtle charm of the path seeps into Cangming's primordial spirit. The innate elemental energy cluster on Shaozhou Mountain shines brightly, and is attracted by the residual jade, diving into it one after another. With Cangming's realization, the remaining jade gradually shrank, and a miniature jade plate appeared among the primordial gods. Unfortunately, cracks were everywhere in it, making it difficult to complete. The path of returning to the countryside in Cangming has also undergone changes, no longer being a shadow, but a central purple color has emerged. During this period, there has been a sense of change in the human nature of the Guanlong tribe, which is in harmony with the innate divine birth and the enlightened way of heaven and earth. The 3 talents of heaven, earth, and man, humans follow the earth follows heaven follows the way, and the way follows nature. Behind Cangming appeared a virtual shadow of a Tao fruit, but the Tao carried by the residual jade was mostly incomplete, and the virtual shadow failed to stabilize and eventually shattered. The realm of the divine sovereign has become stable. Previously, relying on the Pangu divine form and innate spiritual treasures was rampant, but ultimately it was not the right method. At this moment, Cangming finally realized that the core of this cultivation is the balance of the 3 talents of heaven, earth, and humanity. The innate divine darling of heaven and earth, born to carry the Tao, has already gone a long way on the path of the 2 paths of heaven and earth. If we only follow the way of heaven and earth, and lack of humanity and harmony in the middle, we will end up with a dead end. In the end, only the way of heaven and earth can be transformed, and it is also possible to build a congenital treasure. No wonder Zulong told himself that as the dragon clan grew stronger, his divine realm would move faster and smoother. Creating and strengthening the dragon clan is the path of Zulong's humanity. So, what about becoming a saint in the future? One path is connected, all methods are connected, and the main pulse of the road ahead is clear. Nowadays, the world is plagued by evil energy, and this ferocious beast is a malignant tumor. If it is not eliminated in a day, all spirits will not be able to develop. Humanity cannot harmonize the way of heaven and earth, and the 3 talents will become unstable. The struggle between the 3 ethnic groups and the fierce beasts retreating step by step, and the flourishing of the 3 ethnic groups, is the growth of humanity. This is meritorious service to heaven and earth, which is the so-called merit of heaven and earth. This world is not the kind of absolute spiritual world on earth. Even if all spirits are extinct on earth, there is no difference between heaven and earth. But the world opened up by Pangu is different. Here, there is a symbiotic relationship between all spirits and heaven and earth. Heaven and earth nurture all spirits, while all spirits expand heaven and earth. Both are indispensable. They achieve each other. The three tribes rose up to eliminate ferocious beasts, and declined to suppress other postnatal beings and hinder the development of humanity. Therefore, the way of this realm should be the way of balancing the three talents of heaven, earth, and humanity. Luo Ting wanted to restart the reverse cultivation of earth's feng shui and fire, and his great power would be attributed to himself to achieve the Honghuang. However, Hongjun's path was to preach 3,000 teachings, strengthen humanity, and expand the world. The ultimate result was self-evident, and Luo Ting fell. So what should my positioning be? Innate divinity does not cultivate martial arts, and there is no need to cultivate them. However, the three talents in the world of floods and wastelands continue to develop, and there will always be an imbalance. The most dangerous disaster is undoubtedly the collapse of Mount Buzhou and the subsequent 4 parts of the earth. However, this is both a disaster and an opportunity. My path should take it as my responsibility to fill the gaps between heaven and earth. Strengthen all spirits, and reconcile the three paths of heaven, earth, and man. Cangming's gaze crossed the Guishu cave and looked at the vast expanse of stars. The purple aura of his ancestral orifice grew stronger and the divine light in his eyes became brighter. I understand. The main pulse has been determined. The next step is to protect oneself and wait for the timing. Cangming has already figured out the rules, and the urgent task is to cultivate the return to the countryside cave sky, waiting for the sky to sink into the flood and wilderness. Once successfully integrated, there will be a place for him in this world, and at the very least, he can be like Zenyuanzi Mingi. Zaizawa jade butterfly is placed on the top of Shaozhou mountain, absorbing innate elemental energy and slowly completing the incomplete Tao. This jade still originates from the same source as the Honghuang. There will be no obstacles when it integrates into the Honghuang. In the words of Earth Star, the cultivation of this realm is the path of harmony between humans and nature. Cangming was in a happy mood, and a little spiritual light from the residual jade stimulated his spirit, allowing him to understand the path ahead. Cangming also glanced at the remaining 2 spiritual treasures without much surprise. They are all inferior innate spiritual treasures, a comb that combs the veins of the earth. The other one is a blue Qingyun, which is ordinary and has a refreshing air. It looks good and is used to assist in flight. For the divine realm, the space of the vast and desolate world can be said to be both large and small. To put it in a small way, the divine realm can be moved by its own Tao to pull the power of heaven and earth, just like the power of Cangming's water veins on the vast sea. In addition to the power of heaven and earth, one can also use the power of spiritual treasures to move, and Cangming's Star River has this effect. To put it bluntly, the vast expanse of wasteland is constantly expanding. Even at the current flight speed of Zhao Cangming, it is unknown when he will be able to fly from east to west. So the method of movement is used for rushing on the road, with pauses between movements that require sensing time, while the method of flight arrives in an instant, most of which are used against enemies. Cangming is preparing to seclude and integrate the achievements of this enlightenment. First, go to the Dragon Palace and say hello to Aocang. This time it will take a long time. After arriving at the Dragon Palace, he had a good meal with Aocang and his 3 siblings, packed some drunken springs, and left in the reluctant gaze of the 3. Next time we meet, perhaps it will be the 3 clans' war and the Dao demon controversy. Cangming's heart is a bit complicated. Dragon Clan, after returning to Guishu, he put the eagle-faced ferocious beast into the Guishu divine stove and slowly extinguished it. This ferocious beast was transformed by a trace of the remains of the chaos god and demon, which is a very good source of nourishment for the destruction divine axe. The purpose of the destruction divine axe is very high, and some materials have limited it, while the muscles and bones of the eagle-faced fierce beast can just make up for it. The divine light surges in the Guishu cave, Cangming sits on the Shaozhou mountain, and Xiaozawa's jade butterfly sits on top of his head. The Tao rhyme manifests itself, and the qi mechanism in the cave is no longer monotonous. Next to the dragon palace and dragon pool, Aocang stood with his hand on his back, exuding his dominance. The fierce beasts captured today have all been transformed into dragons, and among them, the little dragons are not very useful and require good cultivation. Second brother, you are leading your tribe to explore the surrounding waters. The time has come, just as we are unifying the four seas. The wise brother Cangming is already practicing Taoism in seclusion, and we cannot fall behind him. Yes, big brother. I'm going to investigate now. Aocang was also aroused by his fighting spirit, and he was about to achieve the divine realm of enlightenment. At the foot of the mountain, the Qilin begins to unite the entire clan and march towards the eastern continent with all its might. The immortal volcano in Tiannan is filled with the sound of phoenixes, and with a clear cry from the Yuan phoenixes, a large army of phoenixes flies and spreads. The Baiming Glacier, a giant kun with a confused mind, relentlessly devours ferocious beasts. Wherever it goes, all sizes of ferocious beasts are swept away. A turtle wrapped around a giant snake under the iceberg, carefully shielding its breath and avoiding the giant kun. In the shimmy mountain of Shizhou, the four-colored divine sword stands in all directions, absorbing the rolling evil and violent energy. Luo Ting, dressed in a black robe, sat cross-legged on the black lotus of the end of the world, as if sleeping or waking up, with a hint of a smile on his lips. The situation has risen. Chaos, the sea, the sky, and the outer sky, the jade capital and divine mountain. Four deities and humans sat opposite each other, with jade plates, Tai Chi diagrams, Qiankuan cauldrons, and the faint shadows of willow branches. The mechanism of heaven and earth has changed, and the deity who manifested the jade plate opened his eyes and said, "The enemy is in the west." Good, the other three nodded slightly. End of this chapter.